Hi everybody, and welcome back for a special edition of Griz Tracks here in early February for National Signing Day. National Signing Day was just this Wednesday, and the Griz picked up 24 new recruits that are going to make up your Grizzly football team for the next few years to come. 24 guys, 12 of which are coming from in Montana this year, Bill.
Yeah, 12 from Montana, so that I'm sure that everybody loves to see that in Montana, have them have a good recruiting class. I think Montana State attracted a lot of treasure staters too, and 14 are walk-ons, and some of those walk-ons are from as far away as California, so that's something unique.
Yeah, for sure. And the recruiting class may be a little smaller because of those sanctions for the Grizzlies for the NCAA over all the things that have been happening over the past couple years. I know you had a conversation with Coach Mick Delaney about that. What did he have to say?
Well, it's if they divide it up, and sometimes they do divide up the scholarships, and that's enough to lure a recruit. He talked about if they divide it up into thirds, that's 12 players who could have had money, who get nothing and have to walk on, and so that's significant. There could be a few diamonds in the rough that they missed out on that way. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's 4 scholarships that the Grizzlies were missing this year. It'll be the same for the next 2 years as well. And that sounds like it won't have too much effect, at least in this upcoming year. It's kind of down the road when you start to see that, because, in terms of true freshmen, you don't get too many of them that actually see the field.
Definitely. It's all about depth. And as you know, you look at it every season, so many of the players get dinged up. And then that depth is critical. It's so valuable. So, yeah, you just cross your fingers and hope that it won't make too big of an impact in the coming years. Like you said, AJ, in talking with the recruiting coordinator, Coach Green, it shouldn't have any impact on this year, and probably not much next year. Let's face it, there are not many of these recruits who are going to see the field this year.
Yeah, there's potential for a few of them, possibly in that defensive backfield. It's a spot where the Grizz might be a little bit lighter with some graduation going on, and they did pick up a couple new kids there.
Yeah, in fact, Coach Delaney went so far as to say, in his mind, if anybody's going to see some playing time this year, significant minutes anyway, it's a safety by the name of Hudson-Rasmussen, a kid from Tigard, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Talented player, 13 pass breakups. You can watch the film. You can try to analyze how good of a player he is. Mick says he still needs to bulk up a little bit, but until he's out there on the field against some of those Grizzlies in practice, you just don't really know what he's capable of.
Right. And in terms of safety, who knows? We might be seeing Evan Epperly if they really need some depth. Then kid from Kalispell, Glacier, who the Grizz seem to have pulled away from the Cats. He was kind of back and forth between the two of them. But there are two local kids as well that are going to be on the Grizz. Cole Schwartz from Hellgate and Tyler Rickmeyer from Sentinel. And I got to see those guys a little bit more in the fall. In terms of on the defensive side, Cole Schwartz was a big force on a defense that didn't do a whole lot of things for Hellgate, unfortunately. But they have him listed as tight end, right?
That's right, AJ, and it's a good point because it seems like at least a handful of the recruits are guys that you look at their numbers and you say, hey, he played the other side of the ball. He made he got noticed on the other side of the ball. So they convert him. They work real hard with him. Usually it's a guy who played real well at running back or receiver that maybe they convert to linebacker or defensive back.
Right. And in terms of Swartz' offensive numbers, there wasn't a whole lot because Hellgate unfortunately wasn't doing a whole lot. But Grizz may also have picked up their quarterback of the future, potentially, with Jordy Johnson now moving into the end of his Grizz career. Kid out of Bozeman, Will Wire. What did you have on Will Wire? Anything to add there?
Well, I think they're proud of getting Will way back in August. Will committed to the Grizz verbally. And so he's a big kid, 6'5", led the Bozeman to a championship. I don't think you can ever underestimate his ability to be a champion. A 13-0 season, you think there'd be a blip, a little lapse of concentration, but a perfect season for him. The quarterback position, as we know, is interesting right now. You've got the pocket passers like Peyton Manning, and then you've got the guys that can create on their own like Jordy Johnson and the gentleman who did so well for the Seattle Seahawks there. So I don't know what you want at this point.
Yeah, and he's definitely got quarterback size, though, which will be a good thing to see over a couple of those linemen. I know the Grizz picked up a few linemen. There's I think a kid that was 6'7" that they had on that list to replace a few of those big boys as well. So that'll be nice to see. 2 Bozeman kids actually that the Grizz plucked right out of the Hawks program over there, out from under the cat's nose. All of Brock Coyle, I suppose.
Yeah, and I saw that Brock Coyle tweeted about it. I think he's pleased to see some recruits follow in his footsteps. The other player from Bozeman is a fullback by the name of Riley Keck. So we'll see. They certainly are going to need somebody at that position with the way Mick runs his offense. They utilize that fullback.
Right. Smash nose football a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're here in February, still quite a few months before any of these guys are going to see the field, so it's all about getting in the training room and sort of bulking up. Bill, when do we actually get some practices going now?
Well, in mid to late March, they have their spring workouts there, and then actually right now they're lifting. They're already working towards next season as a group. They're what do they call them? Unorganized practices,
or probably from the day the season ended, really.
Informal, whatever you call them. And so they'll have their spring workouts, and then their fall camp will start in early August.
Yeah, and we'll be back then in August with more Griz Tracks and to give you the highlights from Grizzly practice. Thanks for tuning in.